What's the work been like to get back here, going to the NBA Finals?
It's been nothing but a grind. We haven't skipped no steps all season. We got a bunch of great guys in this locker room, a bunch of tough guys. Our coaching staff has been great, front office has been great, and now we want to take it to the next step.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Russ back to discuss another video, and today we're going to be talking about why the Boston Celtics have zero excuses. Zero, zilch, nada, none. Whatever way you want to say it, the Boston Celtics, they should win this 2024 NBA title. We're going to talk about the road that they've went through, obviously in the playoffs, which is diminished compared to a lot of legendary teams who have won the NBA Finals. But beyond that, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they've reached 5 conference finals appearances in their young careers so far and still haven't got the job done. We all know the 2022 NBA Finals when the Warriors beat the Celtics in 6 games. All the stuff that's been said about Jason Tatum, he was 24 years old at the time, and a lot of people do say in the NBA you have to suffer your heartbreak first before you win it all. Well, this is the Celtics' second opportunity. They had a 64-18 record in the regular season. The Eastern Conference playoffs was the Boston Invitational. So with that being said, it's time to put up or shut up for the Celtics. They have a deep roster. Jaylen Brown, who won the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. You have Derek White, who has been playing amazing during these playoffs. Drew Holiday, who won an NBA title with the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021. The roster is deep. You have Porzingis. They expect to return from injury, who hasn't played since the first round. Al Horford. I mean, the list goes on. The Celtics are extremely deep, and they have the luxury also when Jason Tatum or even Jaylen Brown aren't having great nights. They have role players who step up, like I mentioned, the Derek White having a great game, Drew Holiday, Porzingis going off. So with the season that they've had so far, with the lack of difficulty in the teams that they have played against in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year, they have no excuses, and it's time. But before I dive deeper into that, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and turn on post notifications. You know what we post about here: sports, lifestyle, pop culture, videos about the NBA, NFL, Marvel, DC, and all of that. But with that being said, let's talk about these Boston Celtics. So look, my thing with the Celtics is this. If Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown play great and they still lose the finals, no one's going to be mad at them about that. Honestly, if the Mavericks still win because of that, it's going to be because of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving being phenomenal in the series. And they're both all-time great talents. Kyrie is reminding everyone that all the stuff that happened off the court, when it's basketball, it's business, not business. And with Luka, I mean, I talked about this a lot of times. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He's just scratching the surface of what he can be. I mean, we know how great he is. But for the Celtics, I mean, you're not necessarily going to stop the Mavericks. The thing about the Celtics is their team is so dynamic. They have such a deep roster. People I didn't even mention earlier, like Peyton Pritchard, who can give you spark minutes at times, beyond the Drew Holidays of the world, the Derek Whites of the world, and then also your core 2 in Tatum and Brown. But that team has so much offensive firepower. When the Celtics are shooting from deep at a high clip, it's hard to beat them. And we've seen that in the regular season. We've seen that in the postseason. That Pacers series was close, and they did have some quote-unquote struggles against the Cavs and the Heat, but at the end of the day, they won both of those series in 5 games. They swept the Pacers, so they have been dominant, I will say. But for them, like I said, if Tatum and Brown play great and they still lose, no one's gonna be bad at them. But the alternate is true as well. They put up stinkers, which I don't expect, because like I said, they've been through this already. They've been through the heartbreak. But if they pick up stinkers and lose, there's gonna be a lot to talk about, and I already see the discourse potentially happening if they do lose the NBA Finals. Really, whether they play good or whether they don't play good, there are gonna be questions about if they should break up the duo, because Jason Tatum is gonna be contract extension eligible. Jaylen Brown just got his bag last summer, so it's like, dang, that's going to be a conversation to be had for sure.
The Celtics franchise has 17 titles, tied with the Los Angeles Lakers for the most in NBA history. You have all-time greats like Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, even Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. And to be mentioned with those greats for Tatum and Brown, they're going to have to win at least one.
I mean, Tatum and Brown, they played with each other since Tatum was a rookie in the 2017-18 season. They've had Brad Stevens as the head coach, who's now in the front office role. They had Ime Udoka, who led his team to the finals before all the off-the-court stuff happened, and then they have Joe Mazzulla. So you've been through different coaches, and it's not necessarily because there's dysfunction, just the circumstances and things of that nature. But if they don't win now, I mean, when? And you can make the conversation in the case that obviously the Eastern Conference isn't as close remotely to how competitive the Western Conference is. If anything, it'll be harder for Dallas to get back to this point. But also, you can't bank on the Bucks always being injured. 76ers, they're going to have cap space. They might try to pursue someone like a Paul George, a Jimmy Butler, things of that nature. You never know. Teams are only going to get better every season, and it's hard to make the finals. I mean, with the Nuggets, a lot of people expected them to go back-to-back. I for sure thought they were going to make the finals, but we saw the Timberwolves humble them. And then the Mavericks humbled the Timberwolves. So it's not that easy. And for the Celtics, I mean, like I said, the Eastern Conference is easier, but I believe this year and next year you have a real window with this team as currently constructed. But going into 2025-26, I mean, what are you going to have after that? So the Celtics, I mean, it's now or never. Tatum has talked about how he's been ready for this moment. And after last year, the Celtics almost being the first team to come back from a 3-0 deficit deficit, which I believe they would have done that if Tatum didn't get hurt in the first quarter of that Game 7 against the Heat, and then losing in 2022 in 6 games to the Warriors. They're almost there. This is their chance right now. And in my eyes, I believe this series will be ultra competitive. Could see it going 6 or 7 games. A lot of people do say that if it goes 7, that they're going to pick the Celtics to win because of the home court advantage factor and all things of that nature. I mean, I don't know. Home or away, it hasn't fazed the Dallas Mavericks because Luka and Kai, like I said, they've been able to be dynamic. Like I said in my last video, talking about how great they are as a backcourt. If you haven't watched that, go check that video out. They're dynamic as a backcourt. They haven't needed home court advantage. They haven't had home court advantage throughout any of their playoffs. They were 5th seed in the Western Conference. So I don't think that's necessarily going to phase them. One of the most compelling things in my eyes will be, though, with Kyrie in the Boston Celtics fans, because you can obviously tell he's in a better place, but the Celtics fans, they're ruthless, and I didn't realize how many people hate the Celtics so much. That's another conversation that we had, but that's going to be a great thing. I mean, there's so many different storylines and angles you can take towards these finals, but the Celtics, I mean, at the end of the day, you've been the most dominant team in the league. There's been some hiccups in terms of just some bad game 2s in the first and second round, but besides that, no one is really looking too much at that, in my opinion. Even without Porzingis in the conference finals, they were dominant and swept the Pacers. Joe Mazzulla, he's been proved himself as a coach, and this team in the Tatum Brown era has been in 5 conference finals, and Jaylen Brown has been in 6 conference finals because he's been in the league since 2016-17. So they have that experience, and they have the role players, they have the depth, they have the window. So are they going to do it? Is it time? Because if they lose this, there's no excuses. Like I said, Brown and Tatum, they could play great, they could have Hall of Fame numbers, but they could still end up losing, so it won't really matter at that point. But yeah, it's now or never. Something that I'm interested by is the hate on Jason Tatum. Now, a lot of people will say that his mentality isn't of a Kobe Bryant, who's someone that he looked up to, someone that he trained with, of course, before Kobe's untimely passing. But a lot of people talk about how he isn't like a vocal leader, how he isn't so flamboyant, things of that nature. I mean, you can't change people. I mean, that's how he is. He's laid back, he's calm, cool, and collective for the Celtics. And I guess I get it because a lot of people try to say that he was an MVP candidate because of his team, but like I said, the team is so deep and so great. I mean, that's why they're winning. But also Tatum, I mean, he's a huge piece. Even Josh Hart, when he said that Derek White was more impactful to the Celtics, I get what he was saying, but I kind of disagree with it.
But I might put over just like impactful, I might put Derek White more impactful than JT. Look at every main play in the last 6 minutes of the fourth to overtime. Every big play he made. He's probably one of the most impactful players because he does just everything on the court and does everything at a very high level.
You know, obviously he does more in terms of defensively and then also offensively what he can do at times, and really just he's a hustler. I love what he brings to the Celtics. I mean, when he was in San Antonio before he got traded 2022 to the Celtics, I mean, he fit that Celtics grit and what he brings to a championship roster, and you can see that how impactful Derek White is. But Jason Tatum, I mean, let's be real. If the Celtics didn't have him, they would be definitely, I would think, a 50-win team, but they wouldn't be like serious championship contenders. I mean, y'all might disagree with me, but I don't really care. Jason Tatum, he is that guy still. He's a top 10 NBA player in the league, and that goes to show why, and that's another reason why they don't have an excuse. I mean, Luka, he's a top 5 player in my opinion, and I'm a little biased, I'm not gonna lie. And if the Mavericks win the championship, I mean, he has a case for being the best player, period, this year, and I think he should have won MVP. But with Tatum, I mean, you have him as a top 6 to 10 player in the league. Jaylen Brown, top 15 to 20 in my eyes. Drew Holiday, he's been an all-star. He's gonna be on the Olympic roster with Tatum. I mean, bro, you have no excuses. I mean, I don't know what to say to y'all Celtics fans. It's been since 2008 that y'all have won. Mavericks has been a minute too, but it's been since 2011. They won more recently, but I mean, different circumstances. But at the end of the day, we've seen these hashtag banner 18 things on social media and comments since like 2017-18 when they signed Gordon Hayward. And of course he got hurt, so we're not gonna talk about that. But you know, if it's not now, then when? So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my opinion on the Celtics. Because dude, like if they don't win this year, okay, sure, they can make the finals next year, but there's no given. They made it in 2022, they didn't make it last year. They made it this year, we'll see what happens in these NBA finals. But nothing is guaranteed. Time is of the essence. You might make the finals one year and you might never get back. The Suns, with Chris Paul and all them, they made it in 2021, lost to the Bucks. That team is totally different now. There's a lot of different players in the NFL, NBA who made the Super Bowl, made the finals, lost, never got back. Or even won, never got back. Aaron Rodgers in the NFL won a Super Bowl in 2011, never got back. So it's just not guaranteed. And for the Celtics, I know it looks like they can be dominant for seasons to come, but you just never know. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do the Celtics have any excuses? What do you think? Let's talk about it for real. I appreciate you guys watching always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Swaggy Wrestling, also on TikTok at SwaggyWrest02 for cooking videos, shorts, reels, content, things of that nature. More videos are on the way, guys. This is a beautiful time to be alive. The parity in the NBA is great. This is another NBA Finals video right here, but also I'm gonna post my next video, gonna be talking about basically who I think is gonna win. And y'all have to stay tuned for that because my playoff predictions video, if you haven't watched it, of course, it's not as evergreen. It was posted in April, but I did pick the Boston Celtics to win it all because I didn't think the Nuggets would win. I didn't think it would be a repeat champion, but my pick might be different this time. I don't know, you'll have to check it out. So that's a little tease, but I appreciate y'all guys always. Y'all be blessed. Hope your summer is going great. Be safe. God loves you. Hope you're doing well. You matter. You have purpose. Y'all take it easy.